Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Skill Up Show. It's that time of the day. It's 1 p.m. on Monday afternoon, the time where we get on here on the Skill Up Show and share nuggets and share strategies that we can use to skill up our young children and our preteens. And today we are talking about friendship, how to help our children learn how to build quality friendship because we understand that the friendship conversation is a sex conversation. So, sex conversation is also friendship conversations because, like it or not, our children are going to build friendships. Like it or not, they're going to connect with other people. And so, if this is something that is inevitable in their lives, then we want to do our fair share. We want to contribute our share as parents to ensure that they are equipped to build quality relationships. They are equipped to build friendships that are meaningful. We want to equip our children that when they make decisions concerning friendships, these decisions will be decisions that will not come back and be a problem or come back and be a challenge for us because it is from friendships that our children begin to venture into sex related conversations with their peers. So welcome, my name is Maribeth Chima and I am the founder of the Parenting Through Mentorship Academy and PTM Resources, and I always love to add that I am the proud matron of the Mastermind Circle, a peer mentorship and accountability group that we run for young children and preteens. We run this accountability, mentorship and peer mentorship program because we understand the need for children to take the front stage of their lives as early as possible. We want to raise children that can navigate the world. And navigating the world begins with being able to self-direct. It begins with being able to take initiative. It begins with using the experiences that you have, things that you've been taught by your parents, things that you've been taught through the quality access that you've had in your life, taking that and using that as a base for making informed decisions, as a base for navigating future experiences, as a base that you use as your reference when you meet situations that resemble what it is that you have been taught by these quality people in your life. So the mastermind is for every child between ages 6 and 14. Because, as we like to say, we don't brag, we say it with confidence, we can hit our chest and we can say boldly that the mastermind is a foundation ground like nowhere else. A place where we work with these children, we support them, we encourage them with zero shaming. We work with them, we encourage them, and we get them to move from the place of external motivation on a spectrum towards being self-motivated and determined to learn skills, to build skills like executive functioning skills and all other skills that they need to become everything that God has created them to be, everything that they need to become wholesome children. So, yes, let's get into the crux of the matter for today. We are looking at how we can help our children build friendships that we empower them, friendships that even when the sex conversation comes into, the conversation with their friends, then we know that it is an empowered kind of conversation that the children will be having. Okay, I will start by saying every human needs friends, yes, and young children should be raised to appreciate friendship. Okay, young children need to know that friendship will help them navigate the complex journey of growing up. This is one of the things that is very critical that they know. Okay, and we not them knowing even, it is what it is. Friendship will help children navigate the complex relationship of journey of growing up, providing a support system, shared experiences, and a sense of belonging that fosters emotional and social development. I know that right here on this call, okay, whether you're watching right now or you're catching the replay, I know that there are a lot of us as parents who have had negative experiences in the past. There are a lot of us as parents who have been beaten at one point or the other, whether through friendship or someone that we know that has been beaten, that has had a bad experience, right, around friendship. And somehow we have carried the narrative that friendship is not a great thing, or friends are not to be trusted. Please, if this is your experience, we sympathize or we empathize with you, knowing that, okay, it must have been painful. But I want to urge you to heal. I want to urge you to seek, support if you can. But by all means, do not sell this narrative to your child. By all means, do not parade this narrative to the young people after you. Friendship is a beautiful thing. Yes, friendship is a beautiful thing, and it is a need that cannot be overemphasized. So rather than teach your children or make your children think that there aren't good people out there, and that friends are not to be trusted, and that friends, you should be careful. I see those things when you are on social media, and you see posts, sometimes something happens on the streets of social media. The average African, the average Nigerian is always, the average woman especially, is always in that comment telling you how to be careful. Something happens to someone, the first thing you will see is, oh, be careful, oh, friends cannot be trusted, be careful this, be careful that. Okay, so rather than sell the narrative that friendship is something to be weary about, or friendship is something that you shouldn't venture into, we want to help, or we want to teach our children know how to build and develop the right kind of friendship, because friendship is very key. It's very key because children need it to appreciate their journey in life. They need experiences that are common, that are similar with their experiences. They need people who would not validate now. They need people who are having the same kind of experiences that they are having per time. It's more authentic when someone who has the same experience as you is empathizing with you, or is saying to you everything is going to be okay. It feels like it's more believable, right, when you are dealing with someone that is like you. Okay, and these things are not just about because we're saying it. These things are pretty much what life is about. Sorry, give me a second. All right. So, it's life. It's really life, right? It's really life. You realize that it's nature, it's natural that at some point that our children will become, they would turn towards their friends, right, for support, and all of this, more than it is that they will turn towards you as their parents. And this is because these are natural phenomena, right? It's a natural phenomenon that at some point they will begin to trust their friends more, because it's easy to relate, right? It's easy to relate. They are having the same or similar kind of experiences, and all of that. All right. So just give me a second again. All right, I'm so sorry about that. All right, so let's continue. We needed to get something fixed here. All right, before we continue. All right, so thank you very much. So that's it. So yes, don't sell that narrative. Don't teach children that, oh, friendship, you need to be scared. Friends are this, friends are that, friends are that. All right, so we're going to jump right straight in, right? We're going to jump straight in into why friendships are very important, because as I said, it's a very important aspect of their lives, and it's something that we want to feel. We want to give a lot of attention to, so that we understand why friendship is very key, and we want to start introducing our children to the importance of friendship. All right, so number one I have here, I'm going to be sharing just three with you, and then we'll move on. All right, your child would actually launch their self-esteem at home. So your child's self-esteem is launched at home. As a parent, you are the first one that will help your child. This thing is being high. All right. So as a parent, you are the first one that will help your children build or develop a good sense of who they are through your relationship and your connection with your child. The environment that you have created for your child and the kind of communication that goes on in that environment, the kind of validation that goes on in that environment. One of the amazing and beautiful things that you do in your environment is how your child, right from when they are young, right from when they are between zero, all right, from zero, actually, from the cradle. What we do with our children from the cradle is how they will develop a rich sense of, self. That's how they will develop their self-esteem. All right, the kind of attachment that your child has, or that you have built, the child has built over the years, is how your child would build, and develop their self-esteem. All right, now friendships will help to reinforce, right, that relationship. Friendship would help your child boost. It will boost that confidence, basically, that you have launched in your child. Okay, it will boost that confidence. It will also help your child to develop emotional intelligence and social intelligence muscles. All right, through the play and all of those activities that your children do, that our children do with their friends. Okay, what happens when they start having friends as toddlers, as school-age children, as preteens? Okay, most of the expression of their friendships during this phase of their life is about play. So they get to play together, they get to do stuff together, they get to share their toys, they get to, get angry at each other in the playground, wherever they are. While they're doing this, our children are building and developing their relationship muscles. They are learning how to build social connections, right? A new girl comes into the school or into the class, and they're walking up to her after a while. When they get comfortable, they are sharing toys. They're saying, hi, welcome, my name is this, and they're building that. Your child is able to initiate, the ability to connect with another person. That is social connection that is going on there. Your 4-year-old is able to start a friendship or spark a friendship with a friend on her own without your support. So you see, you have nurtured something at home. Okay, you have launched, that confidence or the self-esteem that allows your child to think that they can actually connect with other people, to think, of themselves as someone that can be befriended, as someone that can be connected with, as someone that should be respected. And so they're able to take that respect and apply it, and connect with another person, show them respect just the way you have modeled to them, or just the way you have shown them. And they're able to take that and extend this outside and build their own relationships. Now, when they do this, they feel worthy. Yes, they feel worthy. They learn to treat other people with respect, and all of that. And this is how our children are building their social connection, or their ability to connect with other human beings. Okay, now this is something that friendship does for them. All right, apart from that, they are also building emotional intelligence. When they become friends with these friends, okay, they would have, their disputes, they will have times, right, that they don't agree, times that they are not ready to share. You will see them resolve the conflicts that come between them. There are times that they don't even want to bother coming to ask you, because the time that it takes for them to run and go and complain, they just use that time and try to fix their relationships with their friends. You see the ones that get to the point and they're like, you're not my friend anymore. And then the other one is like, I'm sorry, and all of that. And they're fixing. So they get this problem, they fix this problem, just at that level where they are really little children. As they grow older, the dynamics begin to change, right? The dynamics begin to change. They have bigger issues to deal with, but they learn how to navigate through those bigger issues also, and what have we done over the years? And what have we done with these children, right? From when they were little as toddlers to the point where as preteens, they can actually resolve their conflicts on their own. We have taught them to build their relationships. We have taught them to manage their emotions. We have taught them to navigate through those emotional turbulence, and then build your relationships with all of this. This is why friendship is important, right? As I said earlier, you will launch your child's self-esteem. You will launch confidence in your child, but friendship would allow your children to stretch themselves. Friendship would allow your children build on what it is that you have taught them, and then use the skills that you have taught them or you have given them as parents, and then they use that to extend into their own relationships. So the number 2 thing is about this. Okay, friendship actually helps your child, right, to extend the graces that they've learned from home to the world. Yes, our children are able to extend the graces, all of those social graces that you have taught at home, all of those emotional regulation that you have taught at home, all of those big confidence that you have given them at home, all of those self-esteem that you have built at home, right? Your child is able to take it and extend it to the world. It is through friendship that a bit of the family is extended to the world. We all know by now that the family, the society is a reflection of our families. So the society is a combination of many families, right? It's a combination of many families basically that form the society. So when you go out there and you say, oh, Nigerians are horrible people. Oh, we are terrible people. We are angry people. We are this, we are that. What you're saying in retrospect or by extension is that the families, right, our family system in Nigeria, okay, is one that is built, with bitterness, with anger, with aggression, with corruption. There is no truth in the home. There is no accountability in the home. The foundation at home is wrong. It's because all of this is wrong at home. That is why it is extended to the society. And that extension, sorry about this, I just had a brief cut. Power cut will be back in a few minutes. Now, because all of this is happening in the home, the way that the home moves, okay, what you have, the quality or the values in the home, the way that it moves from the home to the wider society is through friendships and what our children take and extend in their relationships with other people. So you see that friendship is actually, how our children extend the graces that they learn at home into the society. So friendship is important if we are going to build a society that is effective. Friendship is important if we are going to build a society that can be, trusted, a society that is going to be better. So we can say, as Africans or wherever, in fact, not just African, the entire Africa, the entire world, we can say one way that we can rebuild. Let me just, this is pretty dark, so let me just close my camera for now. All right, so I'll be right back in a minute. All right, so we can say boldly that if we want to heal our society as we have it today, if we want to make a change in our society that we have today, then we need to go back home to the family unit and begin to raise the standard in our homes and begin to raise the standards in our family and begin to incorporate values, right? And we begin to instill values in our children. Now, when we do this, then we teach our children how to build relationships, how to build social connections, how to regulate their emotions, and then we send them as apostles and disciples into the world through friendship to impact the lives, all right, to impact the lives and extend the graces that we've taught them to their friends. And from one friend to the next friend and the next friend and the next friend, the society will become better. This is one way that we can heal our society as we have it today. This is very primary, all right? And this is one of the importance of friendship. I said I'm giving you 3. I'm sure you know there are many other reasons, so many other reasons, but I'm giving you only 3 for the purpose of this class. The last one is legacy. Friendship is a legacy. If you are a parent today and you do not have friends, you are not building a tribe of friends that will be a blessing to your child. You do not have a tribe of friends that will be a legacy or are a legacy to your children. As it is, you are a parent today, you are a young woman, you are a young man, and you do not position yourself as a friend to a friend, knowing that your friendship stands beyond just between you and your friend. You know that you're not just going to be there for your friend. If need be, in fact, you are also there for their children. You are also there for their family. All right, that's what friendship, good, effective friendships should be. So we should spend our time building friendship and building tribes that will become a legacy for our children. I mean, a good example and a good story to think of at this juncture is a friendship between who was that Samuel and Jonathan. Is that, am I getting the name right? Yes. When it be David, is it David? David and Jonathan, is this anyway? Who was that Saul was? It was Saul and, was it Saul and David? Oh goodness, my Bible, oh Jesus, God help me. Who was it? But I know that in the scripture there was a time that the king woke up and said that who was it, right? Who was left in the house of Saul that he could bless him for the sake of Jonathan, isn't it? And that's when Mephibosheth came in. All right, so that was legacy, isn't it? That was legacy. It was Samuel, right? Samuel who killed David, Goliath. Actually, I think it was David. So why am I confused? All right, anyway, we know that story. Okay, and it was said that he actually took Mephibosheth in and he blessed him for the purpose of that relationship. That just came to mind right now as I was talking about it. So yes, that was legacy in play. That was legacy in play, where because of friendship, right, a family member was blessed. So it's the same thing, okay, that friendship does. Friendship is a legacy. It's the same kind of relationship or friendship that we should build for our children. It's the same kind of relationship and friendship that we should model to our children, so that our children will understand the place of friendship and so they know the importance. So yes, as I said earlier, if you're on that table where you're constantly saying to the children, oh no, in fact, I was at a meeting the other day. I was at a school last week, and someone, a parent actually confessed in that session that she doesn't allow her child to go out and play. She's not been allowing her child to go out and play because she doesn't want the child to relate with the people around and all of that. And I'm like, no, it's important that they learn how to. What we want to do is we want to teach them how to go about these things. So now that we know, I still want to get that very well, get that right. Okay, give me a second. All right, so now that we know the importance of friendship and we know why our children need to start building, friendship, and why we need to point them towards building friendship. Now let's look at how we can encourage them, or how we can equip them, right, to build friendships, right? How we can equip them to build friendships, and how we equip them will help them when these friendships lead to sexual conversations or sexual related issues. What do you do as a parent to help your child build their social what do you do as a parent to equip your child, right, to build friendships that are meaningful, friendships that will scale through any kind of conversation, that will scale through any kind of issues that come in, that will scale through any kind of conditions that come in, even when sex conversations become an issue, or sex related things become an issue, because we know we were young once upon a time, and we know how so many issues, right, or so many things come in, while you are growing up, and most times it has something to do, with your friends. There is always that connection. All right. So number one thing you want to do to equip your child to build the right kind of friendship, okay, is you want to emphasize on values. You want to emphasize on values, your value system, and you want your child to understand that, okay, yes, it is David, right? It is David. So it was David that wanted, that was looking for someone that was left in the house of Saul, that he might bless him for the sake of, Jonathan. And that's how, Mephibosheth came into the picture. Thank you very much, So yes, let's get to what we're talking about. All right. So number one, you want to connect, you want to emphasize your values when you're teaching your children about friendships and how to pick their friends. All right. So as a family, you should have a set of values that we call your family values. Now, these family values should not be something that is assumed. Your family values should not be assumed. Your family values should be something that is well thought through. Your family's value should be something that is well thought through. It should be something that your children are made to know and made to understand. It should be an ongoing conversation in your home. And it should be something that your children should have at the tip of their fingers. So when you are creating values for your family, you want to ensure that those values are easy to understand. You want to ensure that you put those values, you look for a way to put those values that your child is able to relate, no matter how young the child is. They're able to relate, relate with your values as a family, and they're able to apply it in their lives. In my home, we have a set of values, 10 of them. We try to leave it at 10 because we want them to be relatable, right? We want our children to relate with these values, and we want them to be something that our children can talk about and our children can refer to, like off the top of their head, basically. It's not something they have to overthink, and these values must be something that you revisit over and over again, meaning it has to be an ongoing concern. It has to be a conversation that goes on in your home over and over and over again, to the point that your children internalize it. This is because it is a compass for your children. It is like GPS. It is a standard. And so it's something that your children will have to refer to every time. So it needs to be that concise and relatable, so that as soon as the situation comes, your child is able to pick which one is our value that speaks to this particular thing, and so your child is able to apply it quickly. So that's very, very principal, on your parenting journey, that your children understand your values and they're able to relate to those values, and they're able to apply your values in the decisions that they make. So what are your set of values concerning friendship? What kind of people should we call our friends? What kind of people should we relate to as friends? What kind of people do we allow, or what is friendship basically? Is it everybody that you are acquainted to? Is it everybody that you meet? Is it everybody that says hello to you that you call your friend? Or is friendship in layers? So for instance, we teach our children that friendship is like, when you talk about the earth, basically, and we say how the earth has got different layers. Okay, it's got the outer layer, the inner layer, the core, and all of that. You want to ensure that when you teach children, you teach them, in a way or through something that they can relate to. So usually something that they do in school that they can relate to is usually, a good place to start from. So you teach them that and you tell them, or you can just pick an egg and you say to the child, can you see the egg? All right, let's look at the layers of the egg. You peel off the shell and that's one layer of the egg. And then you get to the egg whites, that's another layer of the egg. Then you get to the yolk, that's like the core of it. And so you can teach them that this is what friendship is like. There are people that will come into your life that are like the shell in your life. So basically, these people are people that, you just talk to because tolerance, okay? Because tolerance, let's use tolerance, right? Because tolerance is part of something, that we do as a family. We tolerate people, or how do you call it now? Allowing, you accept people, you tolerate people, however it is. Your family values are very key. So whatever it is, that is for you as a family. So are you a family that, appreciates other people and their beliefs and what they stand for? And you respect that, okay? But then again, you don't allow them change what it is that you believe. So if you have that, as part of your values, then your children understand that, okay, this person may not share my value. This person may not be my kind of person. This person, but we can still, relate cordially. So we do not have to, or ostracize anyone, or we don't have to, put people away from us simply because they are not like us. So they understand that, yeah, there are people that, will be acquaintance and you can just relate to them from, far, and, you're cordial with them. All right. So that's like people who are the shell, in your, as far as your relationship is concerned. All right. Then the other people that are that are the whites, the egg whites and all of that. And then we would say to them, so these people in this layer of friendship are people that, okay, you find you have common things, right? You have things in common. This could be classmates. This could be your seatmates. This could be your roommates. This could be, someone that life has brought you together. Okay, you have certain things in common. Whether you like it or not, you are in each other's space or in each other's life or something like that. All right. So of course, your relationship needs to move a little from just someone that you say hi to from a distance. Okay. And your relationship has to be, there has to be more. There has to be a bit of care. For instance, if you have a roommate, you want to be sure when your roommate doesn't come back home or your roommate is in trouble. Okay. You want to know one or two things about your roommate so that you can help them when they're in trouble. And the same thing with you. Your roommate can come through for you and all of that. Doesn't mean that this person has become like someone in the core, right? This person is not like your core friend, and that kind of thing. Right. So there are those people that are like egg whites in your life. You know about them. You care about them, to an extent. You are in each other's life. You have, a common interest, you meet on common grounds and all of that. And then there are the ones that share similar values as you. They are the ones that you have come to learn to respect, right? They respect you, you respect them, you have similar values, you have similar, you may not even have the same interests, but you have similar values, right? You respect each other, you respect each other's view. Your perspective have a connection, right? You may not have altogether, the same perspective, but there's always a connection, to your perspective that allows each of you respect each other's perspective. They know how to be quiet and listen to you air your view. You do the same thing for them. As you do this, you begin to develop, deeper friendship and relationship with this person. And now you can get to a point when you have marked all, you have checked all that we have on the list for who can be this inner core kind of friend. Then we say this person becomes a part of your inner circle of friends. So children, we should not just assume that our children know how to form these friendships or they know how to go about these things. We should actually sit and teach them. We should teach them. Let it be that our children learned how to make or choose their friends meaningfully because we have a template, or we have a process, or we have a roadmap that we have gone through with them to help them understand how to, put people in this place in their lives. So that way we tell our children, don't jump in every time you meet someone. Don't jump in and start calling them my friend, my best friend, and all of that. There should be something that is tangible that allows you refer to someone as a bestie. So when we teach our children this, we realize that our children create some kind of they create some kind of shield around themselves that helps them preserve themselves, right? Helps them preserve themselves, even when they are in relationships or they are connected to certain people. There is a layer, okay? There is a layer of shield around them that keeps and preserves them, okay, even in their friendships and in their relationships with people. It is very key, okay? Number two, why you're emphasizing values, of course, you are told, still on number one, why you're emphasizing values, your child already knows their values. So meaning in the first period that your child meets this person, your child is trying to understand what their values are. Teach your children not to be afraid to ask questions. Let them ask questions. While they're asking questions, they will find out where this person's values lie. All right? Where they observe them. They say where you spend your time and where you spend your money. Where you spend the things that are important to you speaks louder about your value than what you just say. Because a lot of people just rant about what it is that is their values. A lot of people do not have values. They do not have a set of values. But when you start having conversations, you will know and what you see. All right? The things that a person empathizes with. One of the things that your friend empathizes with is that a friend that when you're having conversation, by the time they are preteens, they're having conversation and they're talking about someone who cheated. And the friend is like, oh, is he the only one that cheated? Okay, is he the only one that cheated? I beg, let them leave him alone. When they start having those kind of conversations, you know that, oh, your child empathizes with this kind of person. When the sex conversation comes up, and then the friend is like, oh, yeah, I mean, he's bisexual, it's not a big deal, and all of that. You know that your friend empathizes with this, with a certain narrative and all of that. And so you begin to understand where this person lies basically on this subject, and that gives you an informed background basically about this person, and then you begin to know where to place them. So for our children, we say to them, always have at the back of your mind that there are 3 layers. Always place people in which of them. And this is not done stereotypically. You are not stereotyping anybody. You just know how to preserve yourself and what to put where to put each person, basically in your relationship, so that you can preserve yourself, because self-preservation is your job. You need to preserve yourself. All right, teach your children that preserving themselves is their job. All right, so number 2, you want to emphasize respect and consent. All right, so of course it begins at home as well. So everything that your children will take out there, remember I said that friendship gives your child an opportunity to extend grace, to extend, the graces that they have learned at home. All right. Friendship gives your child a chance to impact the society, takes your home, it helps them take your home into a larger society, basically. And that way, a change in the society begins to happen, because your child is able to pass on what they've learned from home to the bigger or the wider society, beginning from their small communities in school, in church, at the mosque, in their peer groups, and all of that. So you need to know as a parent that you are an influencer of society. You are a huge influencer of society. So whatever you see out there today, you are part of the problem, or you're part of, the success that you see out there in whatever society that you belong in. Okay. So for those of us who are carrying our bag and running to societies where other people have done the work, make sure that when you reach there, okay, that you do not go and destroy the work that other people have done. All right. And if you're in a society where you think things are wrong, then you want to start doing the work, and doing the work pretty well, so that you can be a part of the change in that society. All right. Then we said teach respect and consent. So respect and consent is taught by you teaching and modeling respect and consent in your home. So we want to raise children that we model respect to by respecting them. So as a parent, when you allow yourself to be someone that can be held accountable, when you allow yourself to be someone that can be approached easily, when you allow yourself to be that parent that can actually sit down with your children and make time for your children. When you make time for your children, they don't only feel loved, but they feel worthy. When you make time for your children, they don't only feel loved, but they feel like they matter. When you make time for your children, they also understand that, that they are important. That's the only reason you will leave everything and make time for them. Now, when you do that, you show them that you love them and that you respect them. All right. Now, after doing that, you also want to teach your children that yes is an answer and no is an answer. Teach them the importance of being able to say yes when they mean yes and say no when they mean no. Tell them that these two, yes does not mean no and no does not mean yes. So for the things that is a yes that is needed, let them give a bold yes without flinching. Okay. And when it is a no that is needed, let them give a bold no without flinching. But then you can only teach that when you can accept that they say yes and they can say no to you as the situation, permits, basically. All right. So we want to teach our children a chance to say yes, not because we want to hear just yes and no from their mouth, but because we want them to be able to convince us about their perspective. We want them to be able to convince us about their preferences. We want them to be able to convince us about the stance that they are taking. So you want to create opportunities in your home where your children get to convince you, okay, about their stance. You want to create situations in your home that will allow your children stand for what it is that they believe in. So you start that early in their lives by giving them the opportunity to make choices. So how do you start teaching your children about consent and owning their voices and saying yes when they mean yes and no when they mean no? You do that by giving your children little choices when they are little, when they are when they are 5 months and 6 months and all of that. Okay. Always make available 2 or 3 choices to your children. In fact, at that age, make available 2 choices. All right. When you make available 2 choices, your child will pick one, and that makes the child feel powerful. Your child will pick one, and that makes it possible for the child to say, I don't want that one. So he's already saying a no to that one. And I want this one. He's already saying a yes to this one. Okay. As they grow older, you would increase the gravity, of a decision that they can make. You make them start making decisions like, what should we have for dinner? What should we have for lunch? But of course, the options that are there are options that are still in tandem with what is right for them. All right. So this way your children learn to make good decisions, but then again, they get to feel the power or feel powerful like someone that is making a decision. Okay. As they do that, they become comfortable with making or with preferences. They become comfortable with going with their preference or what it is that they prefer per time. As you're doing this, you learn to respect it when they say no. You learn to respect it when they say yes, all right? Because you are the one that is giving them power. So in the same way, you learn to say yes with your full chest to your children, and you learn to say no with your full chest to your children. So this way, they understand yes and they understand no. And so because you have taught them this, they are able to, even in their friendship and in their connections with their friends, they are able to say no when the friend brings something to the table that does not sit well with your child. So in their friendships, let them learn to say yes when they mean yes, and let them learn to say no when they feel they mean no. And they can do this comfortably because they've done this in your home, with their home with you. And they've learned to do this, without feeling guilty. So that's the whole idea. You want to teach them to say yes or say no without feeling guilty. They want to say yes and no because it is what they mean. Now, this will come in handy when sexual, when the sexual conversations, come into their relationships, because of the knowledge that they have, because of how they have been empowered, and because they have the ability to say yes and to say no. Your child is able to say no, even to that best friend that means everything, or that means so much to them. But if we don't equip them with this, then it becomes difficult for your children to say no. Sometimes we get confused because we have children who are hyper, okay, because we have children who are loud, because we have children who are aggressive, because we have children who tend to, fight back. We think that they can say yes and they can say no easily. Do you know there are so many young men out there that if a woman throws themselves at them, if a woman throws themselves at them, what am I saying, young people, even old men, adults, if a beautiful woman throws themselves at them, they do not have the ability to say no, because they were not taught, empowered to say no, even for things that are irresistible. So many times we hear you come and you say, oh, this man is, promiscuous, or this man is unfaithful, and all of that. People think that it is because of something that the partner has done and all of that. Why am I saying in many cases, it is never so. It is never because your wife has gained weight, your this has done. And it goes the other way too, even for women. It is not because the man is not pot-bellied. It is not because of all of that. It is simply because while you were growing up, someone did not teach you how to say yes and mean that yes, how to say no and mean that no, how to say something that is irresistible and resist it, because you have a sense of discipline and self-control. It's our lack of discipline and self-control that allows us fall for anything, for the things that are irresistible, simply because we don't know how to say yes and mean it. So for those of you, or those of us who have children who are very, active, children that we feel can stand for themselves, don't be confused, okay? Don't be confused. Still sit that child down and teach them what it means to say yes and say no and actually mean it. All right? Very, very key. Okay? Very, very key. Number 3 thing you want to do is to teach your child how to communicate. How can you teach children to communicate? Is it by sending them to speaking school? Is it by sending them to public speaking classes? Is it by putting a board in front of them and saying, when people say yes, you say this? No. Communication is learned at home again. So you see, all of the skills and all of the things that your children need to to thrive and to navigate the world effectively as they grow is formed from home. The foundation that will form the rest of your child's life is programmed from home. So when you see young men and young women who are failing, it is because the home failed them a decade, 2 decades, or 3 decades or more ago. Because we are an extension. What we carry is an extension of who our parents are. We are a reflection of the people who parented us. Take it or leave it. It is true. There is a huge portion of who your father is in the person that you are today. There is a huge portion of who your mother is in the person that you are today. There is a huge portion of whoever it is who raised you. So if you're someone who had your father for the longer period, you will have more of who your father is. If you're someone that had your mother, you will have more of what your mother is, until you get to the point in your life where you agree and you understand that there has been some things in your upbringing that is not exactly right, until you can affirm yourself and you can be truthful to yourself and you can say to yourself, I know that this negative behavior, this bad attitude, this thing that I do, I know where it came from. I know where I picked it from. I know where I learned it from, and it is from here. So therefore, I have come to the point that I know that this is not serving me and it's not serving the children that I have born, the children that I have custody on, the children whose destiny is in my hand. And for that reason, I have chosen to break the pattern. I have chosen to put an end to the pattern. I have chosen to stop this from, from spiraling from me to my children. Because really, you think that you're a custodian of one generation or one destiny. You are probably going to be destroying and damaging many destinies, many generations, because you are allowing a pattern roll by not putting an end to that pattern. So yes, it is important that we do this as parents. If we're going to raise children who are going to make meaningful decisions, even when it comes to friendship, okay, and then meaningful decisions that could be what will help them when they begin to deal with sexual issues. Very, very key. All right. Number 4, so we're talking about communication. So you need to open a line of communication where you are open with your children, where there is nothing that your child cannot ask. If you are a parent and you have ever said to your child, why do you want to know? You are wrong. If you are a parent and you say to your child when they ask you questions, why do you want to know? You are wrong. For your child to ask you that question, it's because that there is a vacuum that needs to be filled with the information that you may have to give the child. Dear parents, there are no vacuum as far as a child goes. If you do not fill the vacuum or the questions that they have, some other person is going to fill it. It could be their friends. It could be pop culture. It could be what they listen to on TV. It could be what a lunatic somewhere, someone that is messed up in their mind, says to the child about that thing. So every time your child brings a question to you, asks you about something, and in your wisdom, you feel, oh, why do they want to know? Oh, they are too young. Oh, if the child is asking you the question, it means that the child has gone there, isn't it? If the child is asking the question at all, it means that the child has either had an experience, the child has definitely had an experience. Whether that experience is a personal experience or something that they've heard, seen, and all of that. If they've not experienced, they won't be asking now. An experience is something that you have, that you know about. All right. If you don't know, you will never ask the question. It's something you don't know. So for them to be asking you, it's because there's a vacuum. Why don't you calm down and then think about the right answer and then give the answer for that thing? Honest answers that are empowering. Even if it is a place where you have been wrong, you can put yourself together, answer honestly, and of course, in an age-appropriate way, and of course, in an empowering way. Very, very key. So open a line of communication where your children can ask you anything. The line of communication where you can invite your children to have meaningful conversations with you, where you can invite your children to have conversations with you generally. Now, the kind of how far you go with your conversations or what kind of conversations you introduce will give them the liberty or will give them the comfort to speak with you on those subjects. So if you have introduced, or you're a parent that has introduced the sex conversation in your communication with your child, what you have said is you have access now. You can talk to me about sexual issues that are sex related. Do you understand? If you're a parent that has had communication, or you have talked to your children about money, or you've talked to your children about creating wealth, you've talked to them about savings and investments, what you're saying is, bring them on right now. We can talk about this. So for whatever you are not initiating or you are not introducing conversations around, you are basically not inviting your child to have that conversation with you. Now, are they thinking about these things? Do these things happen to them? Do they see these things around? Yes, they do. And if they are not having the conversation with you, it's because they're having it with someone else. So if you are a father, you have a son, and you have never talked to them about puberty, you've never talked to them about erections, you've never talked to them about masturbation. You've never talked to them about all of this pornography. You've not talked to them honestly about these things. And your child is 15, your child is 17, and somewhere at the back of your mind, he will figure it out. You are not being kind to that child, because what you're saying to the child is, go there and take whatever narrative the first person that mentioned this to you has to share. I hope you know that your child is very likely to empathize and turn to how the first person that narrated something, that gave them the first mention of that thing, applied that thing. So even if their friend that was abused, that is giving them the information about, pornography and all of that, your child is most likely going to repeat what it is that person's information was about. And I'm sure you would know what a teenager's perspective would be, about these issues. Don't do this to your children. It's the same thing for you mothers, all right? It's the same thing for us mothers. If you're not going to invite and you're not going to start talking to your child, about adolescents, you're not going to tell them about what will happen in their body, you're not going to tell them about boys liking them, you're not going to tell them about all those butterflies in their stomach, you're not going to talk to them about how when the boys begin to come, they will find themselves always wanting to walk past the guy, they will find themselves always wanting to go and take water from the dispenser that is close to where that boy is always standing, they will find themselves all wanting to run errands, that will make them pass in front of that boy's house. If you're not telling them all of this and you're not bringing this down and demystifying these things, you are not helping your child. You are certainly not helping your child, and you are leaving them open to all kinds of mistakes. Okay, I'm going to leave the rest for you to fill in the gaps. All right then. And I hope by now we already know that children getting pregnancy is the least of the issues where sexual related issues come in right now. These issues are bigger. They are bigger, okay? So it's not just about, oh, your child, one boy, she got pregnant. It's about your child, maybe one girl and another girl. It's about your child and a threesome. It's about your child and sexual, diseases. It's about your child and many other preferences. See, the world is too complex for any one of us to leave our children without information today. It is wicked, all right? So, informed decision. The next one is help your children make informed decisions. So this is connected to when we talked about teaching them respect and consent. All right. Teach your children by bringing, two options and all of that. So whatever it is that you do in your home that allows your children too many options, you are not training them for making informed decisions. So that's why something as simple as having them have access to too many gadgets is actually a way that you're actually messing up with their ability to make decisions. You see some children, they have a phone in their hand, there's a laptop, there's a phone in their hand, there's a laptop that is just, 2 meters away from them, there is an iPad that is sitting next to them, the TV is on. That one child has got 4 different options at that time. Apart from that, the remote control has access to Netflix, has access to Netflix, has access to prime time. All of this access, all of these options available to your child. Add all that, your child has like 100, 200, 1,000 options. When you put children in the space, you put them in a place where it's difficult for them to make decisions. When you are a parent that you give your children money that they do not know anything about earning in the name of, oh, I want to give them the life that my parents did not give me. I just finished a course recently with some children, a financial course, okay, how to make money and how to become a financially smart child. And I was teaching the children yesterday, okay, we're teaching the children yesterday about earning. And we said to them, what you earn is something that you must have invested. So earning is a return from your investments, from your labor, right? The return from your investments, from your labor, or from a service that you have given. So before you earn something, you must have labored for that thing, you must have given a service for that thing, or you must have invested, for you to earn from that thing. So stop giving our children money that they do not understand, or money that is beyond them, right? Just because you think you have enough. The children were telling me the other day how they have people that they know, and how some kids will come and they will buy things that are worth, like they will buy enough to share for everybody. It's not birthday, it's not anything. The child just has access to that much money. All right. And then we're wondering why every youth wants to be a same group of people, right? Just so that they will have too much money that they cannot deal with. And then we are here complaining every day how the system is corrupt, There are more people gearing up to get into that system of corruption. And you know what it is? Gen Zs are gearing up to get into systems of corruption. And they come with a lot of tech expertise to come and make the corruption and take it to the next level. If you are not raising children who understand what the principle of earning is, then you are going to be raising children who do not understand how to make choices and, of course, decisions that will put them in place, right, where they can, be productive, places where they can be impactful, places where they can, make a difference, basically. All right. So we need to teach our children how to, give them choices, basically, that will help them learn how to make informed choices. All right. Give them those options. Let them think through the options. And then the person says, I go with red. Why did you go with red? And then they begin to think, okay, because of this, because of that, because convince me about your choice, convince me about your preference. This is how you empower your children, dear parents. Okay. This is how we empower your children. And then, of course, the last one is healthy relationships. We want to teach them how to build healthy relationships. Now, when they get into these relationships with their friends, when they get into those relationships with the people, that they have decided to make their, inner circle of friends, call their core friends, and all of that. Now, what kind of relationship are they supposed to have with these people? All right. How productive should these relationships be? What should they do in these relationships? How should they build these relationships? It is our job to teach our children that relationships are investments, and that it is their job to invest in the relationships that they have. Okay, it is their job to ensure that they do everything within their power to build those relationships. Okay, let them know that there are boundaries. Let your children know that there are boundaries and there are consequences for going overboard. Let them know what is accepted. So even in their friendship, you want to put boundaries to it. This is what you can do. This is what you cannot do. This is where you can go. This is where you cannot go. This is how long you can be for. This is how long you can be. Put boundaries around everything that has to do with children. Your preteen needs boundaries for them to learn discipline. Your preteens, your teens generally, your teenagers, your preteens need boundaries. They need boundaries. You need to put a boundary on everything. They can play games. There is boundary. There is always a caveat to everything when you're dealing with children. You can play video games. There is a caveat to it. This is where you cannot go, and this is where you cannot go. You can use the internet for 1 hour. Okay, there's a caveat to it. This is where you can go, and this is where you cannot go. All right. Now you are 18 and you can own a phone. There is a caveat to it. This is what it is, and this is what it is not. For everything, your teenager needs boundaries. It is the boundaries and how effective those boundaries are, and how you communicate these boundaries to them respectfully, as we have said. This is how they begin to understand, they begin to trust, and of course, they are able to internalize, your intentions. If the way you communicate this is not right, you will still make a mess of it. If you communicate this and there is no consistency, they will still make a best of it. If you communicate this and you are not firm about it, you are, there are some of us that pride ourselves as very disciplinarians. Okay, we pride ourselves as parents who are disciplinarians, who are disciplined and all of that. But you see that your discipline, it only shows up when the child is wrong. So basically, you are not even present. You are not even present. You're not even available. So what you do is, for the 1 out of 10 days that you are available, when the child does, you catch one time the child is done wrong, and then you will escalate it. You will beat, you will slap, you will shout, you will scream, and then you go off again for another 20 days. How? What do you think you're doing? You are just, you're just easing your, you're just um romancing your lack of your emotional indiscipline, basically. So basically, you don't have emotional control yourself. You don't, you don't know how to regulate yourself. And so when these things happen, because you cannot even regulate and get to the crux of the matter, you can't regulate and figure out anything. You don't even want to think about it. It is actually laziness that allows you shout and beat children. It's lazy parents who do that, because you don't want to take the route that will make you have to commit yourself to do something more. You don't want to figure out what the problem is. You don't want to look for solutions. You don't want to be someone that is exemplary. You don't want to mirror. You don't want to role play. You don't want to do anything else. You don't want to invest your time into helping your child become better. So what do? You just take the easier route. Give a slap here, shout here, scream here. It is easier. It's a 2-minute approach or 3-minute approach. So you come with your hammer, that same hammer that you use to fix every problem. Oh, the child shouted, hammer, bam, bam, bam. The child fell, hammer, bam, bam, bam. The child disobeyed, hammer, bam, bam, bam. It is one hammer you have. You use that hammer to solve every problem. And you want your child to be informed. You want your child to be equipped. There's no equipment in hammering, no. The hammer just drives in the nail, the pain is there, and after that, the pain is gone. Lesson learned, nothing. The only lesson you are teaching your child is pain. Pain, pain. And then they get to a point, and pain becomes normal. And they are waiting because they know a time will come that you cannot inflict pain on them anymore. They will hang their bag in 1 year, in 2 years, and they are gone. Where are you going to see them to inflict your pain? So shame on your system. It didn't work, because at that point now the child knows ain't no pain anymore. So it's time to spread your wings and do as you like. They cannot give you pain anymore. And so when they come back for 2 weeks holiday, 3 weeks holiday here, well, it's not a big deal. You don't even, are you at home even? So they can continue to do their thing. They are now masters and pro in what they do. So for the few hours that you're around, they just pretend around you. What do you even know about them? You don't even know anything about them. Anyway, they've shut you out since tete. You know nothing. So you just know what they show you. You just know what they pretend around your space, right? And then when it's time, you just give them the money that they need. Don't forget, you're an ATM anyway. You just give them and then they are gone, and then they're living that life. You have not equipped that child. You have not done anything for that child when it comes to, all of these things that we have been talking about. So dear parents, let's not settle for, the lazy man's way, screaming and shouting and beating people all the time. All right, let's invest in our children. Let's equip our children. When we do this, we will raise children who are empowered. We will raise children who know how to leverage on friendship and get the best part out of friendship. We will give children power, the power that they need, that even when they have friends that go out of line, because they've been empowered to, build friendship, say no in their friendships, equip their friends through what they know, and then, of course, grow in that friendship. They are able to stay focused and will be a blessing even to their friends. Remember, we said that the family is what feeds the society. And your child is an ambassador of your family that you leave out there to go extend the grace in your home to the larger society. And that's how we will get a better society. A society that is not sexualized, a society without, sexual preferences that are threatening the fiber of our values as a people. We make so much noise, dear parents. A lot of us make the biggest noise about what we don't want. Yet, our values, a lot of us, our values are seated right on everything that is sexual, that is, negatively sexualized. God Help all of us. Thank you very much for being a part of the session today. If you would like your child to be a part of the mastermind circle, I talked about the mastermind circle at the beginning, where we work with you, we partner with you, we collaborate with you to work with your children on this journey every day, building them and preparing them to make meaningful relationships, to build, their stamina in their friendship, to know how to say no, to make good choices, to choose, make good preferences, and all of that. You need to. Okay, so we have the information right now scrolling on the screen. You can go ahead and grab, screen grab it, and then use that to, to get a slot, in the mastermind circle. All right, get a slot in the mastermind circle. Our new cohort begins in September. So when you get a slot today, you can, book that and lock that down. And we know that you have a place, and then you can pay instrumentally till the 1st of November, 1st of September, when we begin. In the meantime, you can have your children read books. There is nothing that empowers children as much as the knowledge and the information that they are soaking in. So, and they can do that powerfully through books. So we have amazing books for your preteens. We have Unlocking Excellence. It's a beautiful book, right, that helps your children know how to, build skills in every area of their life, not just in their academics, as a lot of us like to do. We have Young and Money Smart. I am big on children being financially empowered. I feel if our children have the right mindset about money, then our children will not be chasing the things that society tells them is important. They will focus on their inside, knowing that the value that they have within can build whatever riches or wealth basically that they need. All right. Then, of course, we want to raise children who know how to start reflecting, thinking, reflecting, what did I do wrong, and all of that. We want to introduce our children to their, the journaling. We want them to start journaling, as early as possible. Please introduce that skill to your child. We have Playtime Stories for Champions for your children between 0 and 10. This has endless number of activities. We want our children to start doing positive things that take their minds off the screen times, and the ills that come with TV, phones, and all of that. Your children do not have so much business, being online or watching all of those screens all the time. We have Christmas Stories for Champions. It's a collection of stories of what Christmas was like, when we were growing up, right? We just want our children to have a peek into what our life was like. Okay. And then, of course, we have Bedtime Stories for Champions. Okay. This is loaded with inspirational stories of young people who are already impacting the world. You can see already that our books are beautiful, and the quality is just something else. So you can use all of these to enhance your parenting journey. Of course, we have our 360-degree planner. You want to be able to plan how to go about your parenting. So thank you for joining me today. I'm sure you got value from this session. If you did, please share with us in the comment section. Let us know if this is your first time of joining us, and if you will be here next week at 1 p.m. when we go live again. All right. So go ahead and use the information. Okay. We will also share with you the link to our seller store where you can order any of these books. All right. We have all of them in physical copies. You can get them on Amazon paperback and Kindle, and then you can get soft copies if you want, okay, from us, from seller. And of course, you can actually have hard copies if you are in Nigeria. We have major cities where you can pick up the book after you make payment for it. Have a fantastic day and have a beautiful week ahead. Okay, don't forget to join us at 1 p.m. tomorrow. In the meantime, if you're watching on YouTube and you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, why don't you go ahead and click the subscription button so that you will be notified every time we go live. And if you're on Facebook, why don't you invite a friend to follow? Okay, invite a friend to come and loot us. Okay, we have so much, as far as information and resources goes in our community. Thank you again. My name is Maribeth Chima. I am the matron of the Mastermind Circle, a proud one at that, because of the kind of children that we're raising in the Mastermind. And I want to mentor your child. So see you in September. Thank you and bye.